Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to talk about how to quickly get over a breakup and how to rebuild yourself after the damage that was done. Whether you've recently gotten out of a relationship or you're anticipating the close end to one right now, I think this video will help you recover or even prepare for this dreadful moment. Do you ever feel like no matter how much you gave to your partner the entire time that you were together, and maybe even on your way working up to starting the relationship, the effort you put in was never enough? Do you replay old memories in your head all the time, wondering what you could have done differently? Maybe you could have responded differently, or maybe you could have approached the situation to get a different response out of them. And do you feel like now that they're out of your life and no longer in your routine, you don't find a purpose in yourself? You don't even know who you are anymore. You don't feel like you have an identity outside of who you were in that relationship with them. Or honestly, you keep finding yourself waiting for some form of motivation to come in your life and get the ball rolling. If your answer is yes to any of these questions, I think this video will help you a lot. Today, we're going to talk about detaching, rebuilding yourself, and creating a new version of you that no one can break, no matter who you end up with. All right, first we're going to talk about the attachment aspect. If you feel like you had lost an identity, you're replaying these memories in your head, you're stalking their social media, hoping that you're going to find something that's going to give some sort of sign of closure, all of these really mean that deep down, whether you want to believe it or not, you are attached to this person. To start your amazing process of detaching from someone, we first need to be able to acknowledge what's happening so that we can fix the problem. We need to understand the unhealthy dynamics that are occurring. Now, the topics that I'm about to go over, they've come from my own experience with relationships and my own experience with a bunch of different immature boys that I ultimately ended up shaping into men and packing them in a box to send them off to the next victim. A big one that is very apparent and has been apparent in almost every relationship of mine that a lot of people really never stop to think about and they overlook because of the societal standards and hierarchy of men and women in their own roles in a relationship, but it's your man competing with you. Now, this is going to be very common for high value women. Not saying that some women are not high value, but it depends on the way you put yourself out into the world. Now, anyone can be a high value person, but if you don't make yourself high value and if you don't have that self-respect or those boundaries, the simple facts are that you are not right now. But of course, you can fix this. A high value woman is one that is confident in her decisions, confident in her mindset, confident in her reactions. She responds with poise, with maturity, with intention. She knows what she wants. She's very confident in what she thinks that she deserves. And maybe she's just a great person overall. Maybe she's talented, maybe she's educated, intelligent, beautiful, popular, charismatic, extroverted, all great traits that put you on a higher frequency. But there are a lot of men or women that compete with their partners. And it can be subconscious to both people or it can be conscious to the person competing. Men that don't think highly of themselves or fake a level of ego, fake their pride, fake their personality, and they know like deep down they're performing for the world and performing for the validation of other men typically. Those people find themselves in relationships with amazing people, amazing high frequency, high value partners that they were attracted to because their energy pulled them in. And off the surface, with the competing partner's performance, they might seem like a plausible candidate for this high value person. But realistically, what's going to happen over time is his insecurity within himself and his lack of self-reassurance, his lack of self-validation, his lack of genuine confidence, and his need to depend on the opinions and validation of other people around him are going to self-sabotage the relationship. And you may never even know that it's coming until like a year down the line when it's all been thrown in your face after so long of it piling up in the back of his head that he never admitted to. If a man feels intimidated and inferior to his partner, he's going to self-sabotage. And this can be in him withholding compliments, withholding support. Maybe he's throwing in some insults if he's more blatant about his jealousy. He's going to be a little bit more controlling. He's going to be hypocritical, perhaps. He's going to tell you, you can't do this, you can't wear that, you can't talk to these people. And he's probably doing the same thing for himself, or he probably doesn't even care about it and he genuinely does trust you, but it's his only form of keeping you somewhat below him. And the thing is too, the sad part about this is these can be really good men. I have been with people that were good people, that they were smart, they had good morals, they were kind, they were fit, talented, whatever, but it's that ego and it's that internal jealousy, that envy, the greed in them that's going to play in their head every time they see you, and it's going to make them feel less about themselves because their insecurity that they're projecting is the inability to look at someone else's value without taking away from their own. Nobody's value, no one's success, no one's praise, no one's doing good should ever take away from your own. It should never take away from how you view yourself yourself or how you view somebody else. Comparison is a thief of joy. And it's not even about comparison. It's just recognizing that we can all be great. We can all be great together. And it's okay if you're with somebody that might be doing something better than you. Like, that's okay. If anything, you should want to be around somebody like that because they're going to lift you up and they might motivate you. You shouldn't depend on them to do that. Of course, you should have your own sustenance and your own self-validation. But a lot of people can't wrap their heads around that, and they end up clinging on to one of these people, making them their partner, making them trapped and controlled with them, and they don't want the rest of the world to see their good because they think it's going to take away from the good within themselves, when realistically the solution to this problem would to just step up their own game. But stepping up their game in a healthy way, not competing with a woman. They could step up their game and recognize the faults in themselves. That is the reason why they see the difference between you two, and they could try to get themselves at the same level. That's a great idea. But the wrong thing that a lot of people do is they subconsciously compete with their partner. There have been so many relationships where I was with someone and I would literally sit and be like, you know, this person spends so much time around me. This person knows all of my talents. This person has seen all of my success. They've seen all of my accomplishments. They've seen whatever. They would know more than anyone about the good or bad things that I do. And they're always the people that give me the least amount of support and praise. And it's not some crazy coincidence. Like, I've noticed this with insecure boys that I've been in relationships with, thinking that they had more confidence than that until my whatever made them feel inferior. But they compete with me. They downplay all of my accomplishments. They undermine it. Maybe they try to suggest, oh, well, you could do this. You could also do this. They try to do anything in their power to like reject the idea in their own mind that you're really good at something. And you can call them out for it. You can try, but a lot of the time they're not even going to realize it because they've never even admitted it to themselves in their brain or out loud. So you telling it to them, it's a hit or miss. It's a hit or miss if they recognize it. But it's not about them. This is about you. So if you can recognize that they're doing it, that's the important part. They completely end up self-sabotaging the relationship because then a year down the line, they're like, why do we argue so much? Why don't we get along? How come it's that da-da-da-da-da? We're just not meant for each other. And it's like, we could have been. We could have gotten along, but anytime something good happens that doesn't benefit you or bring you up, you turn it into a situation where I feel like I'm grabbing for crumbs at the things that you can tell me I did good about. And then I step out into the real world and everyone's like, good job, you're so great, you did this, you did that. You've just been like my biggest op. You've just been my biggest hater for literally this entire time when your role is to be my number one supporter. Another unhealthy dynamic that goes along with this is guys have this standard of a woman in their head, or women as well. But they'll have a standard of their partner in their head. And they'll have an expectation of who they want, who they're looking for, these qualities, these traits. But funny enough, they don't deserve it. They don't deserve it at all. They are not the person. They have not created themselves to be the person that deserves a partner like that. And what happens is with that performative personality or whatever, they might latch them. They might latch them, they might get them, they might reel them in, but in long term, it doesn't last. Not only because the competing self-sabotage, insecurity, projection, but also they just don't have what it takes to maintain somebody like that. They think that they deserve this, when in reality, they deserve about here. But they go and they aim for people like this and they keep blaming it on the other person and being like, oh, she was too much. She just wasn't meant for my family. She just wasn't meant for us. Oh, we're just incompatible. It's just her personality. And it's like, no, you are actually just shopping in a store that you cannot afford. So yeah, the card's gonna decline. The card's gonna keep declining. Y'all need to stop praising the bare minimum. I don't praise the bare minimum. When someone does something that is bare minimum, I don't give it that, wow, oh my gosh, you did this. Oh my gosh, you're amazing for that. I'll leave my thank you, or that's kind, here and there. But realistically, when you give someone all of that praise too early, they're gonna be fed in their mind that, oh, I'm doing great. I'm doing great. This is what I have to do. And obviously that depends on the person. If it's a good person, a good partner that was planning on doing everything and more from the start, your praise or without your praise, it doesn't really matter. Someone that is depending on only the benefit and the good feeling that they get from being in a relationship with you and performing, those people are gonna search for that praise. And once they get enough of it, they're just gonna cut it out. So the conclusion from this is keep your praise to a minimum, literally, because if it's with a good man, you'll keep him anyway, because he's gonna do it regardless whether or not you tell him he's doing a good job. And it'll filter out the people that are like this, that are only doing it for your validation, which is not what you wanna look for in a partner, because no one should be seeking external validation. I've said this before, but I made a whole video on this, so go watch it. If you had a checklist right now of all of the traits and qualities that you wanted to see in a partner, guess what? You're gonna find at least a few 100 million people in the world that actually meet that criteria. Or maybe it's such a high standard, there's like 5 of them in the world. Regardless, you can recognize that that a standard, an expectation, a minimum that you write on a paper still doesn't define love. These are conditions, but what you want is an unconditional love, right? So these are the minimum standards that you will accept from someone, which is great. You need to have this boundary. You need to have this level of self-respect and confidence and knowing what you want and knowing what you also deserve. But then you get this list of all these people that boom, 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 they mark off, they check off everything on this list. What sets one apart from the rest of them? I don't care if you go on a date with the guy and he's super tall, super handsome, super intelligent, super mature, emotionally intelligent. He grew up with sisters. He's a gentleman. He pays for everything. He's very attentive, whatever. Like, he can have all of the traits that you were looking for, but point blank period, if there's not a level of chemistry, if there's not a level of connection that genuinely draws you to this person and hooks you like this from the get-go, don't convince yourself that you are in love with this person. Don't convince yourself that this is your partner, they were made for you. No, they're not made for you. They're doing things that you are also capable of doing, that you prefer to be done, that everyone else in the world is really capable of doing. Don't settle for that. Don't settle for that. When you take the first offer that comes your way just because that's what you're looking for, you're gonna end up with the most mediocre, bland relationship, or it's just gonna fail later in life. You're gonna spend the rest of your life with this person. You don't wanna spend the rest of your life with someone just because they're manageable, just because they fit within your schedule and they align with what you want. This is like your soulmate. Like, you're literally going to sleep next to this person for the rest of your life. You're gonna raise children with them. You need chemistry. You need that undeniable connection with them, and undeniable feeling of like everything about them. It's everything about them, even their little flaws, like I love right now. Once you feel that with someone, alongside them checking off your standards, then you know you've got a good person. Some red flags to look for from your past relationship or the relationship you're in right now that you're about to end after this video. Do they make you feel smaller when you're around them? And not in like a cute feminine way that's like, oh, he's masculine and like he makes me feel protected and whatever. Like that's great. I'm not talking about that. Does he make you feel that you have to minimize yourself to be more digestible to his expectations, or to make him feel good about himself, you have to bring yourself down? If they make you feel like you're questioning your worth and you're questioning your talents and ability to do something, ability to achieve something, rather than lifting you up, they're competing with you. They're literally competing with you. You can be next to a 4-year-old and they can show you a drawing that they made and it can look like, but if you say, oh my gosh, that is so beautiful, you're saying it because you know that they tried their best and you care about that little thing, and that's what it deserves to hear, literally. Only someone fueled by hate and fueled by jealousy and who's just genuinely miserable and so negative in their head would see something like that, something so innocent and something that doesn't need to be perfect from someone that they love, to be like, so what? So what about it? It's okay. You can do better. Like, this isn't what we want to settle for. Because if he's treating you that way, guess what? He's going to treat your daughter that way. He's going to treat your son that way. So keep in mind that you're literally agreeing to spending the rest of your life with this person. Why are we forgetting? All right, the next part, after mastering this detachment by recognizing why you should have never been with this person in the first place, we're going to rebuild ourselves. Because we all know that that horrible relationship took all the juice out of us because we just kept pouring into a cup that had a freaking hole in it. Self-awareness and forgiveness. To move on from somebody, you have to forgive them. To move on from a situation, you have to forgive the situation and accept that the past is the past and there's no point in dwelling on it in a negative light, because it's only going to be internalized with you moving forward. The present is the only thing that exists. So to hold on to resentment is to be a resentful and hateful person, which you don't want to be. When I leave relationships with people that I just described, I genuinely feel bad for them. I genuinely feel a sense of, dang, I'm sorry that they were like that. They don't have any idea who they lost. Or maybe they do have an idea, but they still lost me anyway. Like, I genuinely feel bad. May God bless them. May God fix them. May they learn in the future and this be a curve for them. But at the end of the day, everyone really is a reflection of their entire lives and their environments that shape them. And you can't blame anyone for who they really are at their core, as long as they're trying their best, really. And even if they're not trying their best, forgive them anyway, because it's not your problem anymore. You've taken yourself out, just forgive them, because honestly, mean people can't change if they don't feel like they're forgiven. If you're an evil person and you feel like the whole world is gonna call you evil for the rest of your life, even if you decide to be good, you're not gonna be good, because everyone's gonna tell you that you're being mean anyway. What's the motivating factor? What's the point? You can try everything you can to be a better person, and if everyone's just gonna tell you that you're a piece of crap, you're gonna feel demotivated and you're gonna feel helpless and like it's pointless. So learn to accept and forgive anyone, literally anybody in your life, any situation. Just forgive it. Don't let it reside within you. Don't let it be internalized and change how you are as a person. You don't want resentment in your body. You want to forgive and release, and you want to give that person the availability to change. You cannot blame somebody that doesn't understand you and your needs when they don't even understand their own needs. curse. Being self-aware is a gift, and if you can do it, that's great. Put yourself first, prioritize your well-being, and you can just cross your fingers and hope that one day they reach that same level of self-awareness. It's not your job to make it happen for them. It's not your responsibility. It's gonna come with time, and it's gonna come with experience. There's not a thing that you can say to someone that's gonna give them experience in their life. It's the way God set all of this up for us. You can't fight it. If it's meant to be, it's meant to be. And I'm not saying that in the terms of there's a soulmate out there, but it's not your job to sit around and wait on someone to be at your level of life. There's only one life, and there's only one present. So live in the present. Don't wait on somebody to change. Don't wait on somebody to pick you. You pick yourself all the time, always. You won't have to worry about somebody picking you because you're picking you. So you know your life is going to be prioritized by at least one person, and the person that it matters most to. Find your own purpose. If your identity with your partner had been lost in the relationship, all you had was them. They were your entire routine, your entire life. You formed into literally a female or male version of them. You need to isolate yourself. You need to spend time alone. You need to learn how to be self-fulfilled, self-efficient, and self-motivated. Create a new routine. Create a new schedule. That person was your schedule. That person was your routine. Your life literally revolved around their waking breath. Immediately, even if you don't think that there's enough crap in your life to do, get a piece of paper out right now. From your Sunday through Saturday, make a list from wake to falling asleep of what you're gonna do every single day. You don't have to follow it exactly, but what it's gonna do is give you a baseline. So any of those days that you wake up and you feel like you don't have the ability to get up and commit to your life and figure out what you have to do, there's already something that's telling you what you have to do. So worst case scenario, you just follow that blindly and you're gonna be okay. Your world's gonna keep rolling. You're not gonna lay in bed all day and rot on your phone for 5 freaking hours. And a lot of you might be saying, well, Chloe, I actually really hate myself and I actually don't like spending time alone, and I can't stand the idea that there's no one around me to give me company, to give me entertainment, to witness my existence, whatever. I completely understand that. I completely understand and I get that, and there's nothing to be ashamed of, but the first step to change is acknowledgement. So we're gonna understand why we might have this. It could have been your attachment to a partner and the lack of one now that makes you feel like you don't have this ability to keep going in your life. You have to recognize that you're putting a relationship on a pedestal and you're making it your purpose of life. To hate yourself and to hate time alone means that your existence literally relies on that of the existence of other people. And it's okay to think that community and connection is a priority, and it is, it absolutely is, but it's not a need. And you need to be so comfortable with yourself to know that if anyone picked you up right now and threw you on a random island remote in the middle of the world, that you could still be happy and that you could continue the rest of your life in gratitude that you're alive, gratitude that you're existing on this earth, that you're able-bodied, that you are still a good person regardless of what has happened to you, etc. It's gonna be tough and it's gonna be hard to force yourself to be okay with being alone when it's like the last thing that you ever want to do. But look back on your life. Look back in your childhood. Were you always neglected as a kid and that's why you yearn for the company of other people? Have you been abandoned so many times by friends, by family members, or someone passed away in your life that traumatized you that you have to feel that you need to keep people so close? Whatever it is, that's okay. Just analyze it. Think about your life. Think about the roots for these things. Talk yourself through it. Talk yourself through the understanding that the past is the past. And literally the only thing that exists at all times is the present. And as long as you dictate your life on the regrets of the past, the traumas of the past, and the fear of the future, you're gonna be stuck and you're gonna be wasting the only life that you have, which is right now. To be able to achieve this fulfillment in isolation, you really have to reach a certain level of spiritual consciousness and the ability to detach from a simulation of the world and detach from societal standards that make you believe you have to depend on the accompaniment of other people. Put yourself alone. Literally isolate yourself. Don't talk to your friends. Start by isolating yourself from literally everybody. Don't talk to your family. Don't talk to your friends. Don't talk to your teachers or whatever. Don't talk to your exes. Don't go looking for new partners. Spend time alone to prove to yourself that you can literally do it. Spend time talking to yourself, journaling to yourself to prove that just because you spilled a cup of milk today, someone didn't have to freaking hear about it. They might care, but they don't have to know. You are the witness of your own existence. If you believe in God, God is the witness of your own existence. If you don't believe in anything, we're all gonna die. Everything on life and earth is temporary. Everything is meant to go. You can try your whole life trying to get someone to witness something, trying to get someone to hear what you have to say. Ultimately, all of it's gonna go in a dump. Not saying that there's no point in living a life and contributing to the world, but I mean it as though you have to master a level of detachment and understanding that you're gonna have to detach from all of these things eventually, because the people in your life, you're either gonna outlive them or they're gonna outlive you. So at some point, something's gonna go, whether you like it or not, and it's better to get used to the idea and comfortable with it now. Spend all this time alone tone, if you don't like the way that you look, if you don't like the way that you sound, stare at yourself. Stare at yourself in a mirror, talk to yourself, record videos of yourself and just watch them. Literally, do it. Spend so much time looking at yourself, hearing yourself, and not only is it gonna open all of these doors where you can look at yourself and be like, like I think like that, maybe I should change this, or I do that, maybe I should work on it. Self-awareness is great. Like self-awareness is great. It's okay to admit that you need to change. Like that's literally perfectly okay. We should be changing every single day. Every single day that we open our eyes is a chance for us to evolve into a better person tomorrow. And also, if you're constantly trying your best, because the present is the only thing that exists, you are always the best version of yourself. So let that be your motivation. Spend all this time with yourself until you love yourself. Fake it until you make it. Literally start affirming yourself, look at yourself in the mirror and be like, I'm so beautiful. I'm so smart. You might not believe a lick of it, but I promise you, when you say it long enough, your body, your mind, you're gonna start acting in a way that fulfills it and makes it true. Genuinely. If I woke up every single day and I decided to be like, I'm a nice person. I compliment people. I recognize people's attributes. I do good deeds. I go out of my way to be kind and generous. If I started every day like that, that sets the tone for my day. And as long as I make sure I'm keeping that mindset in my head and I'm acting on it, that's exactly what I am. Because the past isn't real and the future isn't real. Whatever I'm doing right now is only what I am. If I tell myself that I'm this good, great person and I tell myself that I love myself, that's just gonna be a fact. That's going to be a fact. It doesn't matter if I spent the last however many years of my life hating myself. It's not about that. It's about what all of it did to lead to this moment right now that is the present. Delusional confidence. Just have it. Just have it. It'll help you. It really will. The last thing I want to talk about is discipline and transformation. A lot of people depend after a breakup on motivation, some form of motivation to get them up and to keep going, because they leave this person, they leave this life that they had, they leave this future that they envisioned, and now they're like, okay, well, all of that's ruined. All of that's gone. What is going to get me up right now and get me to want to do all of these things when I know that I'm not working towards that goal anymore? Okay, I get that. So you could fix that problem by creating new goals and creating a new routine and a new schedule and a new future in your mind. But more importantly, you don't have to do that. I literally have a very vague idea and understanding of what I want to do with my future because I've fully accepted the fact that I could diet any day. And that doesn't mean I go about my life nonchalantly and I put no effort. I just don't stress about it because I cannot control the future. I can only control the present right now. So this is what I'm going to take care of, and this is where I'm going to focus my mind. Motivation doesn't have to come. Motivation should not be waited on. You don't need motivation to get your life going. You don't need motivation to become a better version of yourself. You don't need motivation to go back into the world and fix your relationships with other people or develop new ones. You don't need motivation to go to school, go to work, go to the gym. What you do need is discipline. There's a difference. Motivation is a feeling. Motivation is something that can come and go based off of, what's influencing you from the outside. Maybe the partner that you thought you were going to have, maybe a job that you think you're going to have. Discipline is a decision, and that decision of discipline is tied to your self-respect. So when we talk about taking that energy that we poured out into this person that didn't deserve it and turning it back around into ourselves, we're going to build our self-respect, we're going to build our self-love, and with that, we're going to build discipline. We don't need motivation. We're not depending on external factors. We're not depending on that partner. We're not depending on a future partner. We're depending on none of that. We just need the discipline. Like I said earlier, when you make that schedule, when you make that routine of wake to night of what you're going to do, you don't need motivation to do it. You need the discipline to get up and get it done. Consistency is not something that you find. Consistency is built and it's created and it's done. Your life is never just going to become consistent. Your life is never just going to become a routine. You have to have the self-respect, the self-love, the self-care, and the self-discipline to get up and be the only consistent factor in your life, because you are the only thing that you can control. There's something that I think a lot of people do that interferes with this discipline and interferes with their ability to keep pursuing a vision that they have for themselves. It's when you speak out loud. When you go around and you tell people, I'm going to do this, I'm going to get this done, oh, I'm working on this, I want this. I understand that you just want to communicate, you just want to share what's going on in your life, etc. But without you knowing, a lot of the time what you do when you speak these things out into existence, you say them as if they're already true. And when you say it to people, they might give you praise. They might be like, wow, that's a great idea. Or, oh my gosh, good job, good for you. And whether you know it or not, that's literally going to create chemicals in your brain. Serotonin, oxytocin, dopamine releasing in your brain. You get that satisfaction and that pleasure from achieving something. You didn't even do it yet, but you already got the praise. So what your body is going to do when you go back to that activity, when you go back to that idea or that work in progress of whatever, you already feel a level of satisfaction because you've already been recognized for it. Someone Someone's already tied that trait to your character, so you don't feel the need as much to pursue it and to push yourself as hard as you would have if you just kept quiet. Personally, I don't try to mention any of my achievements. I would rather prove it than say it. If I wanted someone to believe that I was good at singing, or that I was good at content creation, or that I was mature, self-disciplined, I'm not going around saying a peep to anybody. They're gonna look at me and they're gonna know based off of the visible evidence that comes through fulfilling my dreams, fulfilling these ideas, expectations I created for myself. Don't self-sabotage. Just keep your accomplishments and your success, keep it to yourself until you are literally at your peak. Keep it to yourself until you've gotten as far as you really need to go. Things that you can do to start this off: set micro daily goals for yourself that you don't mention to anybody. Prove to yourself that you can keep promises without the need to get validation from other people. Self-validate. Prove to yourself that you validate yourself and that you can keep the promises you make to yourself, and praise yourself when you complete it. Start with one area. Maybe it's a skill, maybe it's money, maybe it's health. Maybe you want to go to the gym 1 day a week now, or 3 days a week as opposed to 1 day. Maybe you want to start eating all organic. Maybe you want to cut out gluten. Maybe you want to show up 10 minutes early to work on time every day. Whatever it is, pick 1 or 2 or however many you think you can handle. Just start off small, and when you implement this ability to keep your promises to yourself and self-validate all the time, it's going to be your lifestyle. It's going to be in everything. It's not even going to be a 1, 2, 3 here or there thing. It's going to be how you function, how you live your life. And that's the best feeling in the world. It's literally the best feeling in the world. Use that breakup as fuel, or use the breakup that you're anticipating as the fuel. Use that energy to evolve, to prove that you are not broken, and to prove that some human being on this earth that is literally another human being just like you does not define your worth. Your worth is not the person that left you or abandoned you. Your worth is not defined by the person that you want to pick you or to choose you. Your worth is defined by yourself and who you choose to be every single day that you wake up, every single conscious second of your life, who you choose to become and who you choose to act on in the present, the only constant. All right, guys, that's all I have for this video today. I hope that you enjoyed. I hope it helped you maybe come to some realizations that you didn't have when you were in a relationship, or maybe it reassured ones that you already kind of thought a little bit and it's the first time you've heard someone else put it into words for you. Or maybe you're anticipating a breakup and this was your confirmation that you need to do it because you heard me describe exactly what your partner is like, or exactly what you're like, and what you need to work on in yourself to be the strong enough person to make that change. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and subscribe, and any comments, I will reply to every single thing that I see. I love your feedback. I love the comments. I've been reading them. They're so sweet. They're so pure. It makes me so happy when you guys tell me that I've affected you, that I've helped you, that I've resonated, or the things that I'm saying is just things that you've been thinking in your head your whole life, or that you feel seen or feel heard. That stuff literally melts my heart. It's exactly why I do this. I love it. And I hope that this video helped, and I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.